So you've got two distinct mindsets of the boys coming into this game.
So again, one team which lost on a walk-off when they had complete control of the ball game, by the way, if you were not with us, as Salinas is down on strikes. Just an incredible comeback by the Astros Orange of East Cobb down in the state of Georgia as they score 5 runs, send 7 men to the plate, all with 2 men out in the bottom of the final inning, and they rally from a 4-run deficit to beat this Texas-Florida Canes Elite squad in the winner's bracket ball game. So now, of course, again to reiterate Rick's point, ZT Elite Garcia won 5-4 on a walk-off in the bottom of the 7th
inning.
Thank you. Bottom of the 7th inning, 5-4 the final. The boys from California defeated one of Florida's best, 5-star Elite. So 5-star Elite is now eliminated, and we're down to the final 3. The winner of this ball game moves on to the national championship, where they will face the East Cobb squad from the state of Georgia. That will be double elimination as well, by the way. So that means that these two teams need to win 3 straight ball games,
correct,
to be the national champions.
Correct.
Part of the reason that ball game, that loss, was so big for both of these teams, but especially, that loss was so big for the boys from Texas/Florida. Here's Jaworski Lane. Lane will pop this one up. Wynn going to carry it out of play on the right side.
Yeah, with the boys being 12, Chris, it's only natural to come off of that emotional, draining game that they just had with these Cobb Astros. They lost in a walk-off fashion, and so you wonder if Coach Smith and those guys can get these guys refocused, regrouped, let them know they still got a shot here today, and they got to bear down against the boys from Cali. And on the flip side with the boys from Cali, their emotions are on a high now because they won on a walk-off hit. So they come into this game with all the adrenaline flowing and all the momentum in the world coming into this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Into center field, and our opening salvo of the ball game. First base hit of the ball game belongs to Jaworski Lane. Lane, the backstop in game 1 today. He'll be doing, he'll have the tools of the trade once again here in his second game. Had a strikeout, RBI single. Was able to swipe a base, score a run. Ended up 1 of 3 in game 1. Here's Noah Everly. Everly in center field for this second game of the day, and man alive, was he good on the mound for his guys in game 1.
Outstanding. The coaches from from Texas Florida Canes, I talked to them in between the games a little bit, and they wanted the man to do and finish the game. Unfortunately, didn't work out for him, but he threw a gem, and I think he might just got a little bit tired right there at the end.
Stolen base for Lane. He's now in scoring position with 1 man out in this frame.
This is something that all the teams that have played the Texas Florida Canes have had to deal with, is the speed on the base paths. It doesn't matter if there's a righty or a lefty up there. They make no secret about it. They're going to steal every base, any chance they can.
Noah Everly. 1-1 count. Need to get somebody on the scoreboard over there. Wonder if we'll be able to find anybody. Rick will have an opportunity to work his magic.
Yeah,
Only so many guys who can work it, right?
We'll get somebody.
Fastball for called strike 3. Everly angry that he did not pull the string on that one and go after it. He takes a fastball right down the heart of the plate. Caught him guessing.
Yeah, I think he was probably looking for something off speed, and Hokola blew the fastball by him. We had that one at 75, so another pitcher that's throwing 75 plus, and we've seen a bunch of them this week.
Now Devin Downs. Downs the extra hitter. On base twice in game 1 of the day. Single, walk, scored a run, foul ball.
as you can see, again, they're moving on the pitch. You know, they're not shy about stealing bases. They're going to go any chance and every chance they can get. So we're going to keep a close eye on that in this game here.
Wind really picking up now here in this first inning. Talked about it a lot in game one. We are sports broadcasters and not meteorologists. Although I thought about it for a split second. With my personality, I would have been the cheesiest weatherman you would have ever seen. No doubt about it. Swing and a miss. We'll talk more about that as we come back a little bit later. Devin Downs is, well, down if you'll forgive the pun on strikes. See what I mean? 3 strikeouts in the inning. 1 man stranded. No score. Bottom half of the first, elimination bracket ball game for the 12U classification of the 2021 Travel Ball Select National Championships. To be the end of the week for one of these teams. Whichever team falls in this ball game, suffering their second loss of bracketed play, the winner will move on to the national championship. They'll need 3 consecutive wins this ball game and then 2 in the national championship. The first potential national championship game will be broadcast live for you right here on Travel Ball Select's Facebook page at noon. We'll have the call. So ZT Elite Garcia from the state of California will get their first whack at it here in the bottom half of the first inning. Here's the defense which they will face. It's Craven, Everly, and Griffin in the outfield. Craven, Everly, and Griffin left to right. Piles, Salinas, Smith, and Moore on the infield. That's third to first. Piles, Salinas, Smith, and Moore. Lane behind the plate receiving the little white dot from Ryland McMahon. McMahon, a left-hander, so that'll be a little bit of a change of pace. Had 2 at-bats in game 1 of their day, the 8 o'clock affair, where he was 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout.
You know, Chris, you talked about the weather at the end of the last inning, and we've been here since Tuesday, and I can tell you the weather has been absolutely beautiful here in Kentucky. The first couple of days, it was Tuesday and Wednesday, it might have been a high of 78, 79, no humidity, got down to 55 at night. And the people that were here from the state of Texas had to play those early games, they were actually buying sweatshirts because they left 103-degree Texas. So when they got here, they were like, "You guys got sweatshirts? We gotta find those sweatshirts."
Dylan Seward, Josiah Morris, Logan Schmidt. Haven't caught him. Those are guaranteed 3 here in the home half of the first inning, and Dylan Seward has reached base pads the hard way.
Well, I'm sure that's not the start that the Canes were looking for. A couple of pitches into the game, and you got a base runner already.
Well, they got off to a little bit of a slow start. Well, I say a little bit of a slow start. Certainly a slow start in their winner's bracket ball game against East Cobb. Committed 2 errors in the first inning. Runner maybe caught. Oh, a great throw from the first baseman down to the second base bag.
Oh, he dropped the ball.
Oh, boy.
He dropped the ball.
So Seward in safe. Wait a minute now. Oh, he should be out, Rick. No, I'm sorry. Did not have it in his glove.
They're gonna. We might see a challenge here. We might see a coach challenge and see if it's going to be on the transfer. Coaches are allowed 2 challenges per game to kind of see what's going on, and he's going to challenge. He's going to challenge.
All right, so we'll have Amy Walker, Patrick Glory, rack up the replay here, and we're going to have the home plate umpire come up to our broadcast perch and kind of look over our shoulder. We'll need to slide over a little bit here. They'll come and check this thing out. Our first replay of the day. We did not have one in game one. Canes Elite, ZT Elite Garcia. This is Texas-Florida combination of a team versus California. That's another theme we have in this 12U classification. All the teams that entered play today, some of the great hotbeds of youth athletics. Making sure that the game clock, remember that these games are timed an hour and 45 minutes. Here we go. We'll get our first replay at it. He doesn't have the ball. Gonna get another look at it here from behind.
I got a feeling this is
Ready.
replay here.
Yeah, I think the mistake that some folks are making here is they think that the ball was fielded by the second baseman. He then applied the tag, and in the transition of raising his glove to throw it around the infield, that is when he lost possession. That's incorrect. He actually never really had the baseball in the tagging of the base runner.
I don't know what happened.
We're going to see home plate umpire Sidney Hall come out here and make the call. They were only back here for about 10 seconds.
Yeah. That's a relatively easy call. And now I love the beauty of technology. Some of the fans and coaches are down here talking to the opposing coaches and teammates because they're watching our broadcast as we speak.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, Mr. Domingo. I appreciate it. No doubt on tape delay, so he'll hear that here in a couple minutes.
So now what we've got here is the Texas Florida Canes used one challenge. They've got one left.
Right.
And that could come crucial later on in the game. I'm not sure if the shortstop talked him into the challenge or what Coach Smith was thinking on that. But regardless, they went ahead and made the challenge. We got it up here and went through the replay and got the call right.
Josiah Morris now, second baseman in blue, with an RBI opportunity. 0-1 count. ZT Elite Garcia from the state of California. 8-1 overall record in both pool play and bracketed play. McMahon kicks and fires. Sweeps outside. 8-1 overall record throughout the week. They've outscored their opponents 106-35. They've had a host of routes. In pool play, they were a perfect 4-0, outscored their opponents 59-8. 59-8, 4-0 during the week of pool play. Here in bracketed play, the championship tournament, 4-1 record, 48-27. They've outscored opponents. ZT Elite entered the tournament as the number 3 team. Entered bracketed play, that is, as the number 3 team. Won their first 2 before falling in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, as a national ranking stand, you're now watching number 2, which is ZT Elite out of California, against number 4, the Texas Florida Canes. And the reward for the winner, they get number 1, East Cobb Astros. Yep. These guys actually faced off. ZT Elite was put in the loser's bracket by the Texas Florida Canes yesterday.
That's right. 9-3 was the final in that one. After ZT Elite defeated Kangaroo Court American in the opening round 10-9, that was a barn burner of a ball game between a 3 and a 14 seed.
That was a very good game. ZT had to come back on that game.
Fastball tails away, didn't finish his follow through, and so the fastball tailed away. Then ZT Elite, a 13-3 victory over 5-star Elite. Then they fell 9-3 to this Texas Florida Canes Elite squad. Fell into the elimination bracket where they faced 5-star Elite once again. That was the morning game over on Field 6, which they won in walk-off fashion 5-4. That is your week so far for the boys in 2 shades of blue.
Well, it looks like we had a premature walk. They're calling it back to the plate. Count should be 3-1. The old 3-ball walk here.
Yeah.
All right, we're set now. 3-1 here.
Lefty set. Righty waits in the box, and he cuts on and misses. 3-2 now.
Sometimes as an umpire, I've done this. I've umpired 27 years. You look out there at the scoreboard, and if it's wrong, you tend to question yourself. If you click the pitch on your clicker
Sure.
and your counter and your indicator, and so you get a little confusion going on there. But we got it straight. We got somebody on the scoreboard working it properly now, so should be no more issues moving forward.
Morris will draw the base on balls. First 2 men in this ball game have reached. Now for ZT Elite. Seward was hit by a pitch. Morris with the walk. Here's the lefty, Logan Schmidt. Couldn't check a swing. 0-1.
Nice pitch on the lefty there, starting him out with a breaking ball away. He was setting fastball, couldn't hold up. Tried to check a swing, but was unsuccessful.
Oh, 2 now.
I tell you, I watched these boys from California play quite a few games this week, and I can tell you, you're not going to beat them with the fastball.
Yeah.
They all have quick hands. They keep their hands aside the baseball, and they do a great job. If you're going to beat these guys, it's going to be with off-speed stuff. Not necessarily curveballs, but mixing in the change-ups, just a change of speeds is how you're going to beat these guys.
Oh, bounces up there. A tremendous stop by Lane behind the plate. Been a tough day for the backstops, for the catchers.
Yeah, it's been a long day for them. But you know what, though? It's part of their trust, the pitcher's trust in them to bury that ball, that 2-strike pitch into the dirt and hope that they can stop it. So I don't have a problem with that.
Another off speed. Boy, McMahon's got a lot of bite on that off speed, that curve, that breaking ball. When he can find it, find the control, get it over the plate, he could be deadly.
That one there took a lot of discipline to hold off on that one. That was a great pitch by that young man.
Second, 3-2 count of the inning. And that was shot to left, pretty well stroked, back towards that fence, and up against the wall. The first run of the ball game gonna score. It comes for ZT Elite. They have runners at second and third, and still nobody out.
What a great piece of hitting by that young man. They can see they was trying to work him away in the previous pitches, and he was looking for something away. Credit to him, he did not pull off the ball, did not try to pull it. He went with the pitch, drove it to left field, down the left field line, off the fence. They had him shaded over into left center. Easy 2-base hit and a 1-0 lead.
So an RBI double for Logan Schmidt. I'll have to watch this game on replay and show that left-handed swing to my oldest son. That was a gorgeous swing. Here's Max Lopez. Lopez, the left fielder for ZT Elite. ZT Elite Garcia. from the state of California. You know where this team gets most of their players? Do you have any idea? Am I catching you flat-footed?
California.
Yes.
You know, Chris,
We'll ask at the break.
What I started to tell you is when you get to teams of this nature,
Yeah.
pretty much they're not from a centralized location.
Oh, yeah. Right.
They're from a metropolitan area. A lot of these kids travel 1-2 hours to come into practice and play games and stuff. So it's not like the old days when you played with your neighborhood team.
Oh, sure.
You know, and you went from just town to town. Now these guys are made up from a larger area, and they go state to state to play.
Yeah, I asked for California because I just didn't know if it was Southern California or Northern California. That's the real thing.
Southern.
Because those are like two different states.
To them it is.
I mean, it really is.
It is, yeah. And they're from Southern California. And they've been shut down. California is one of the last states to kind of ease the COVID restrictions. So they've been shut down pretty much all spring. They've had to actually travel into Nevada and Arizona in order to get to play this year. It's been tough on them, been tough on their families. Because when you travel to those states, along comes the expenses, right? You've got gas, hotel accommodations, as opposed to staying inside of California.
Right.
It was late May, I think, before they started playing actual games in California. So these guys have definitely been behind the 8 ball when it comes to that, but they're still moving right along like they haven't missed a beat.
Third consecutive batter with a 3-ball count. Third consecutive batter with a 3-2 count now. Max Lopez wearing the 42. McMahon kicks and fires. Chopper down to third. Doesn't come to the plate. Instead takes the quote-unquote easy out over at first base. First man gone. That'll be an RBI ground out for Lopez. 5-3 the scoring if you're scoring with us at home.
Lopez did his job. All he's got to do is put the ball in play, get it on the ground somewhere. He may have had a chance to come home, but this is a 6-inning ball game. We're only in the first. Take the out and give up the run. You're staring at a 2-0 deficit now.
Schmidt decided to stay down at the second base bag. Second runner scores 2-0 in the first.
You know, Chris, we talked about ZT having to travel due to the COVID restrictions. You take the Texas-Florida Canes, and they are just the opposite. They don't have the restrictions in those states, and they have traveled more than any team in the entire country this year.
Wow.
Let me tell you where they've been so far. They've been to Texas, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, now here in Kentucky already this year.
And every time I see them or read about them, I think to myself, who was the smart guy who thought about starting a team that was a combo of Texas and Florida? Holy smokes. Like, can you find a better hotbed?
Yeah, he had a pretty good talent pool to choose from.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Zane Ho'okola.
There's another one of them pitches inside fastball, ties him up. He's lucky just to foul that ball off and get a piece of it there.
Ho'okola back into the at-bat now at 1-2. Bit of a show-me fastball there from McMahon. That's not even his best giddy-up.
That's going to be a setup pitch. You probably see something off-speed here.
Oh, caught him on the hand.
He got hit.
So Zane will reach the first base bag. 2 men on now with 2 men out. I'm sorry, with 1 man out. And the second hit batter of the inning. We might...
We're going to get a courtesy runner for Ho'okola. He's the pitcher.
Yep.
And one of the nice rules that we have in youth baseball is we do allow courtesy runners for the pitchers and catchers, get them off the field. Allows the catchers to get back in, get dressed up for the bottom part of the inning, and allows the pitchers to come in and get some rest before they have to go back out and take the mound. So that's one of the great rules that I really love in youth baseball all over the country.
Aiden Rosano going to be the courtesy runner. We've got ourselves a new pitcher as well. Hervé Quijada. Hervé Quijada. is the courtesy runner, 77. We saw Irve, he was the man, you may remember, if you were with us earlier, that had that collision at the plate with Crawford, the backstop for the Astros. And the ball came popping up in that wild back and forth, the two wild throws on the ground ball. Had a ground ball down to third. The third baseman threw it wild at first, allowing that runner to score. They then threw it back to third. It was a wild whirling dervish type of play. Quijada was the man who came to the plate, scored the final run of that sequence, and we had ourselves a collision at the plate. So, Texas Florida Canes Elite making a pitching change, bottom of the first.
Yeah, I think we said this in the first game against the Astros. This is not the way they wanted to start the game. And the Canes battled back in that game and took a lead on the Astros. But this is a whole different ballgame, Chris. This is where I'm talking about, does the mental side of it, losing that heartbreaking game in game one, does that play a factor in here? You watch the body language of these young men out here and see how they react and see how they overcome this challenge that they're presented right here, whether they're down 2-0 already in the first, 1 out in the bottom of the second, and runners at first and second. So we'll see what the Canes are made out of. If they can get out of this with just 2 runs, I got to say the momentum is going to swing back to the Canes.
Boy, that looked like a little change by Quijada. I don't know his pitch sequence, what his arsenal is, I beg your pardon, but looked like a dandy little change. It was called a ball, by the way. That one sinks in, misses the plate as well. Jaden Estevez, the right fielder, the hitter now for ZT Elite Garcia of California. If you're just tuning in, happy Father's Day from no matter where you may be joining us or how you may be joining us. Father's Day 2021. We're spending it here at the Elizabethtown Sports Park in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, just south of Louisville, about 40 miles or so, 35, 40 miles. Just north of Bowling Green as well. Alongside Rick Goff, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Thanks for tuning in. Our second of 5 games here on the Facebook page for Travel Ball Select.
In our 11-year-old championship game that we got coming up 4th today, we already know one of the opponents that will be in that, which is the sister team from the team we're watching now, the ZT Prospects out of California in 11U, will be in the championship game.
Right center field, that ball got a chance to drop in for a base hit, and it does. They will hold the runner at third wisely. Schmidt will hold up at the third base bag. It's a single for Estevez. The bases are loaded with just 1 man out. Here's a look at that last play. A hit batter and a walk. An RBI double and a ground out. A hit batter and a single. That's your inning so far. 7th man to hit, Eric Zadunik.
Yeah, the little soft line drive there over the second baseman's head. That's a tough play. The runner at second had to hesitate for a minute, and that's why he ends up at third. Nice pitch.
Zadunik, the extra hitter, the EH for ZT Elite for California. 1-2.
Now let's see if they run the same pattern here that they ran earlier. Got ahead 0-2. They go high and away with the pitch. See if they come back inside with a hard fastball here.
Oh.
Got him with the curve.
Holy smokes, what a pitch.
That was a nice one. That was a nice one there.
Watch the break on this baby. Oh, that's gorgeous.
He was way out front.
Aaron Garcia now, the center fielder. That one fouled back into the screen. He aggressively swinging on first pitch. And an 0-1 count.
Well, I said it earlier in this broadcast. You're not going to beat this California team with fastballs. You've got to throw some off-speed stuff. If you fall behind and have to come in with the fastballs, this team will absolutely put you in a bad situation.
Bases loaded, 2 men gone. Bottom of the first. 2 runners have already crossed in an 0-2. Is hit on the ground down to third. Up with it is Pyle. He'll throw across the diamond for out number 3. But 5 men reach in the inning. The big RBI double from Logan Schmidt, the biggest blow, alongside 2 hit batters and a walk. 2-0 through 1 in Kentucky. Well, it's a gorgeous day for that, if you're so inclined, which I'm not, by the way.
No.
No.
No, I'm
no.
one of the people. I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good airplane.
I'm a land lover. I think my wife would love me to do that, but she's not getting anywhere with that conversation. So a brand new ball game here, at least in some ways, for Zane Ho'okola with a 2-0 lead as we make our way into the top half of the second inning for Jordan Griffin, Brendan Pyle, and Finn Moore. Those are guaranteed 3 for the designated visiting team in this elimination bracket ball game. Winner to the national championship. The problem is, as highly decorated as these 2 teams are, this is a true double elimination championship tournament bracket. So you've got to win twice in the championship to be the titleist. In other words, the 2 teams you see on your screen right here, right now, will have to not only win this game, but then 2 more to be the titleist, which of course would mean for ZT Elite, they'd have to win 4 straight games today. It can be done. We've seen it before, but I will admit to you, it's sort of rare.
Oh, and oh, by the way, waiting for them is the #1 team in the country.
That's right, absolutely. Who has been incredibly dominant this week, save a few innings in their last ball game. That'll be a strikeout of Jordan Griffin. Griffin's had himself a good day today, however, despite that strikeout. Here's Brendan Pyle. Pyle at third to start this ball game for Texas Florida Canes Elite.
Fastball in the outside corner. Huakala. Got to remember to pronounce both those.
That's right.
Looks in command of all of his pitches right now, and he's keeping the Canes off balance.
Lefty kicks and fires. He's a big kid, too, by the way. Are they going to say that hit him on the belt buckle?
Yeah.
You know,
as I commend the young man on his command.
Well, this is awfully close, and I thought I saw it nick him, but yes, it did. I didn't see an initial movement from neither he nor the umpire, so I didn't bother to bring it up. Now Finn Moore, the first baseman, to start this ball game, had himself.
Does that fall under the announcer's curse, where I talk about his control and then he hits somebody?
That absolutely counts. You know how I know? Because I curse kids all the time. I'm a walking jinx, I think. Finn Moore had 1 at-bat in game 1. of his team's action. Here's a strikeout victim. Now that was a great articulation of a kid's stretch movement that fools the first base coach and the base runner were both diving back to the first base bag on that last pitch from Ho Okala.
Well, that's what happens with a lefty on there, and I've said this my whole entire life. Lefties cheat at everything they do.
I try to tell my wife that all the time. She just doesn't listen.
I mean, look at a left-handed batter. They're already 4 feet closer to first base.
I know it. You don't have to sell me.
For those of you that bowl, a left-handed bowler, nobody ever uses their side of the lane.
Right? Whoa. You wonder if Zane will be... His stuff is electric right now, but admittedly, he doesn't have full control of it. You wonder if he'll be effectively wild in this ball game. Swing and a miss with the fastball, and Moore's down on strikes. 2 strikeouts in the frame.
Part of his problem, Chris, I think he's picking up his target late going home. He's worried about the runner over there. He's trying to be deceptive. Watch here. I think he picks up his target. If he picks up his target in plenty of time, he does well. Let's keep an eye on him and see if he picks up his target late.
Yeah, I see that. Oh, that one bounces up there. And the runner will advance. Pile now down to the second base bag.
Now with the runner at second base, that distraction at first base is no longer there. So we'll see if he bears down and focuses in right here a little bit better.
1-0 count. McMahon waits at the plate. Ho'okola delivers. Swing and a miss. Actually, check that. This is Irby Quijada. That's right.
Oh, he come in to pitch.
That's right.
Yep.
I beg your pardon. No at-bats in game 1 for Quijada, although he did score a run. Mentioned that a little bit earlier. Chopper at first. Easy play at the first base bag for Schmidt. And that'll draw the frame to a close. Fans, want to remind you, Versus is a recent addition to the Athletics Sports Group family of brands. Launched in 2020 at the Elizabethtown Sports Park in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Versus is becoming the premier weekend tournament provider in the region. Unique to this brand is the partnership with Elizabethtown Sports Park, where all Versus events are held. Completed just weeks before the first games were played, the Elizabethtown Sports Park added turf infields to all 12 ball fields, making this already immaculate park absolutely unbeatable. Versus provides enhanced weekend competition and maximizes the overall tournament experience. You can learn more at versustournaments.com. Let's talk about the road to this elimination bracket ball game for the Texas-Florida Canes, a 5-2-1 overall record. We gave you the bio on ZT Elite a little earlier. Texas-Florida Canes Elite, 5-2-1 overall, 77-30. They've outscored their opponents. Or I suppose 77-32 would be the up-to-date number.
Up-to-date.
Yeah. 3-1 inside of bracketed play. 41-22 they've outscored their opponents so far in the national championship bracket. And if you're curious, by the way, 2-1-1 inside of pool play or group play if you prefer. 37-10 they outscored their opponents. They won their first 3 matchups before falling in the winner's bracket. Some call it the winner's bracket championship game.
Correct.
Yeah. Here earlier this afternoon, or this morning, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, even though we're right on the timeline here, we're still in the morning here.
Two 2-0 ball game. Swing and a miss. Zion Martinez, the third baseman. Adrian Rosales, the catcher. The 9-10 men in the lineup. Then back to the top of the order, and Dylan Seward. Ground ball. Well struck down to the second base bag, but no problem for Smith, who will throw him out. 4-3, the retirement of Zion Martinez. Cut on and missed. I think Rosales decided he was swinging before that ball was towards the plate.
Yeah, at this age level, I'm sure you see that a lot. Predetermination, I'm swinging no matter what.
0-2.
He's thrown him 2 breaking balls away. He swung right through both of them. Let's see what he decides to do here with the third one.
Well, baseball says waste it, but you know what? You might not need to, really.
Hey,
just because Rosales was so far off on the first 2.
Yeah, he threw it there, trying to make him go fishing there a little bit, trying to make him get himself out, but he didn't. He held off on that one.
Second of 5 broadcasts here today. We'll have the national championship in the 12U classification. Again, the winner moves on to face Georgia's powerhouse from East Cobb.
Here comes a breaking ball right here.
Got him. Oh, boy. They will have to throw down to first for the second out. Gorgeous. We'll get another look.
Yeah, that was a setup pitch from the pitch prior. Up in the zone, fastball. Let him see it. Change his eye level a little bit. Go back away. He showed that he had trouble with it on the first 2 pitches, so we knew that he was coming back to it eventually here.
Back to the top of the order in Dylan Seward. Dylan was hit by a pitch to start the ball game. What, I guess on the second pitch of the ball game, maybe the third. He later came around to score a run on the RBI double of Logan Schmidt. 2 in the first for ZT Elite Garcia of California. Little cue shot into center. No problem for Everly, and that'll end the frame. Top of the third coming up, 2-0. Back at the Elizabethtown Sports Park here in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, just south of Louisville, Kentucky. 2-0 ball game. Right back into the screen. Trying to test my reflexes.
I jumped a little. You know, after all these years, I laugh at those people, and here I was just now. I was one of those people.
I was just about to brag on myself for not, but I won't, because now I'm going to feel bad. Now I'm going to feel bad.
Well, you know what? I didn't jump. I flinched. How's that?
Yeah, big difference.
Big difference.
Zane Ho'akola with a 2-0 lead here in the visitors' half of the third frame.
I like to think that I still have those cat-like reflexes. That's what I'm telling myself anyway.
Brody Smith, Jeb Craven. And then back to the top of the order in Aiden Salinas. That's a great complex. If any of you out there watching and you love travel baseball, maybe you're thinking about starting a team, or you have a team and you just, maybe you didn't register. Decide to come out or get invited in some cases.
Yeah, this park is absolutely beautiful. It is truly set up for youth players. Truly set up for youth baseball players. They have 12 fields here. They have 4 fields with 200-foot fences. They've got 6 more with 250-foot fences, and then 2 regulation high school fields. So this is a park that's definitely designed for the youth of America. And, you know, whether you come out here for Travel Ball Select or one of our sister companies with Versus and Game Day, man, I advise you to get out here to Elizabethtown, because what a wonderful, wonderful park this is.
Well, we've had a change to the lineup here. Jeb Craven was in the lineup, started the ball game in left field, and he was taking the 10th place spot in the lineup, which was owned by Jack Strochak in game 1. Craven came on for Strochak and finished the ball game for him. Well, Craven started the ball game in left field and was penciled in this lineup, and now here's Strochak.
Yeah, what happens a lot of times is they have him out there for defensive purposes, and when his lineup spot comes in the lineup, so don't be surprised if you see Craven go back out into the outfield in the top half of the next inning.
Well, that's also a very important point for those that don't know how the travel ball game works. As Strochak is down on strikes, let's make sure we articulate that too. The substitutions, the in and out, the courtesy runners, things like that. Yeah,
so in youth baseball, the starters can re-enter for one time. So the sub can come in for him, and then at any time during the game, the starter can re-enter for that exact person that came in for him, assuming the spot in the lineup, only one time.
Once, right.
Right. When the sub comes out, he is burned for the rest of the game.
At a play for Aiden Salinas. Salinas, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Ho'okola, by the way, just really quick, Rick. Let me make sure I got this right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts through the first 10 batters faced.
Yeah, he's definitely on his game here today.
The other great thing about this park, by the way, and I'll not be able to dive into the point as much as I'd like to with a 1-2 count and 2 men out, is also the location. Great weather. Hot, sure. Humid, sure. Not sweltering. Not as humid as it could be maybe down in Metro Atlanta, for instance, sometimes.
Well, I was just going
to... You're staying away from the rain that you get in Metro Atlanta this time of the year that'll just pop up. And also, by the way, look, Louisville's a half-hour drive north. Bowling Green's about a 20-minute drive south. You got a lot of history around this area. Abraham Lincoln's birthplace home is right down the street from here. Yesterday, I was fortunate enough to go up to Louisville before I came in and go and tour Churchill Downs, the home of the Kentucky Derby, which if you've never done, by the way, holy smokes, that was like a religious experience. This is a great location. You've picked a fine one, Rick.
Yeah, the whole thing about the location here is the biggest thing for me, living in the Metro Atlanta area for over 3 years and holding this event in Atlanta for 9 years. Coming here, the first thing I notice is humidity. Atlanta is absolutely brutal.
Brutal. That's the word.
Year.
Yeah, that's the word.
Absolutely brutal this time of year. The humidity drives you crazy. And there's a little, I'm not saying that there's not humidity here, but it's just slight. It's not as bad as it is down there in Atlanta. And all the teams have commented on this week as well. They enjoy the weather temperature change.
2 out walks are golden. That's a big one for Salinas. Keep the line moving, and here's Jaworski Lane. He delivered the first hit. Matter of fact, the only hit of the ball game so far for Texas Florida Canes Elite. His 1-out single led to a stolen base in the first, but he was stranded on the base paths. So the walk to Salinas, by the way, the third base runner for Canes Elite.
Well, here we go back now. We got a runner at first base, and Ho'okola seems to be preoccupied with him. He's thrown over now twice. There's 2 outs, and I'm a little confused. I'm surprised Coach Garcia is not really just telling him, focus in on the batting here. We got 2 outs. Don't worry about that runner.
Ho'okola. Off the corner.
There he is, picking up his target a little bit late. causes that pitch to stay outside here.
I'll tell you something else. This stuff is so devastating. I mentioned earlier, maybe he doesn't quite have the control over it that he wants. Now I'm really starting to believe in my speculation a little bit more. Got to play off that fastball. I totally agree with everything you were saying about Cain's Elite and how difficult it'll be to get any fastballs past him in the strike zone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's his strong pitch. You can't get away from it too much. Not over the plate. He's throwing plenty of them. He's just not getting them over the plate. And if he's lacking control, to me, you got to go back to your bread and butter and work off of it.
Well, I think right now he's losing focus. He's so preoccupied with the runner at first base with 2 outs. I would like to see the young man concentrate on the hitter and get the 3rd out and get out of the inning.
There it is. There's the fastball right at the letters. 2-1 count. See, that's what I mean. I don't mean gun one down the center of the plate. Just concentrate on breaking off of that pitch or building off of that pitch. Right field. Back of second, and it falls. Oh, a bad throw gets through. Now a runner coming to the plate, and he is safe. Once again, the hustle of Texas, Florida, Cain's Elite pays off.
The speed, we've talked about it now for a game and a half, and they are aggressive on the base paths, and they got the speed to do it.
That ball drops behind the second baseman. The throwback into the second base bag, and trying to gun down the runner is has to be scored an error, right? As the throw gets away.
Yeah, that's an error on the throw from the outfield to allow the runner to score. If he hits a cutoff there, they hold him at third. You got runners at second and third.
Yep. So Salinas will score the run. It's the first of the ball game. They're on the board. Is Texas, Florida, Cain's Elite. Now a 2-1 ball game.
Tell you what, Chris, he was just shade of missing to make this a 3-2 ball game. Olacola does not want to throw another one in the same location he just threw.
To Noah Everly. Off the corner. Easily down to the second base bag is Lane. The third base bag, I beg your pardon.
Let's see if Olacola here changes his focus now with a runner at third. Doesn't have anything to worry about. He's not going to be stealing home. See if he zones in here.
Well, you called for this earlier. You speculated earlier that maybe that would be the case, and he did settle in a little bit. Right field, well struck, and out of here. For the second time today, Noah Everly goes the opposite way for a home run, this time a 2-run shot. And the Cain's Elite from Texas, Florida take a 3-2 lead.
Chris, I think this is all a product of him worrying about that runner at first base with 2 outs. So worried about him stealing second base, losing focus, a little flare base hit. Now he comes back home run, and all of this with 2 outs.
That's exactly right. After consecutive strikeouts of Smith and Strochak to start the inning, the leadoff man in the lineup, that is, Salinas, the number 1 hitter, a walk, Lane a single, Everly a 2-run home run. And it's a 3-2 ball game.
And we've already seen today that anything going to right center field is carrying out of here. Not that they need the help of the wind, but it's
especially some of these kids. Yeah,
it's definitely there.
Get back to your spot.
Well, let's see how the young man responds after giving up the lead in the home run. See what kind of composure he has here.
Remember, before this uprising, 7 strikeouts in the first 10 batters faced. For Zane Ho'okola, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, he seems a little rattled right now. Hopefully he just takes a deep breath, focuses in here and gains his composure back.
Struck out the side in the first, and he's had 2 strikeouts in each of the second and third innings. And again, just a gorgeous swing from Everly. If you weren't with us for their first game of the day, Noah hit a ball out to right that couldn't have been any more than 2 inches from the end of the bat. 3.
Yeah, he was fooled. He was fooled on the pitch.
Yeah.
But to his credit, kept his hands back. And,
strong kid.
And like we said, the wind's blowing out to right. So
you can hear it.
Get it up in that jet stream. It's not going to take much.
Out away, Devin Downs. Devin, a strikeout victim. His first time up. That ended the first inning. Was on base twice in game 1 of their action today. Had a single and a walk. Scored a run. Smokes one to center field, and when I tell you this ball's way out of here, goodbye. Devin Downs absolutely smokes one to center field. 4 in the inning, 2 home runs, 4-2. Fourth home run, by the way, Rick, just really quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, but just really quick. 4 home runs now in the last 3 innings of play for Texas, Florida, Canes, Ely.
Well, it's one of those situations, 3-2 pitch. You got to come with a fastball. He knew it. He sat on it hard, drove it deep over the center field wall. One of the longest balls we've seen hit here this week. That ball was absolutely hammered out to center field.
Jordan Griffin now. Right field. Base hit. Chance at 2. Right fielder gets to it just about as quick as he can. Estevez comes up and firing into the cutoff man. Good job by Estevez out in right to hold a speedy batter and base runner to just a single.
Yeah, it's a great job by Estevez. He gets to it quick, cuts it off, because out of the box, the Canes are thinking too on everything they hit. And he made a nice hard turn, made sure there was no bobble, fielded it cleanly, gets it back in, holds him to a single.
Again, all of this action with 2 men out. Smith and Strochak were both down swinging to start the frame. Then a walk, a single, a 2-run home run, a solo homer, and then a single. Those are your last 5 batters. Walk, single, 2-run home run, solo home run, single.
I'm reading the body language of Hoakola, and his shoulder seems to be dropping down just a little bit. You got to believe, when teams come to this type of event, they're not used to getting hit like this. When these guys pitch, they usually dominate.
That's right.
But at this event here, I've heard numerous times from coaches, hey, my number 1 gave up 3 or 4 runs. He doesn't give up 3 or 4 runs all year.
Right. Swing and a miss at the off speed by Brendan Pyle.
That's probably the best pitch he's made today right there.
Tremendous.
That was tremendous. Bottom fell right out of that one.
Best control he's had on his off-speed pitch.
Yeah.
To put it right where he wanted it.
Well, now he's up here 0-2. Let's see if he's going to worry about that runner at second base.
Pyle hit by a pitch back in the second. Runner breaking. Might have a chance. Better throw it quick. No, sir. Too much speed. Just too much speed for Canes Elite.
I can tell you all week long, the teams have talked about their speed, and then there's Texas Canes Elite speed. It's a whole different class with those guys.
And they're going for it again, and they've got it again. Had 4 or 5 stolen bases here as I'm perusing my notes in their first game. 4 or 5 stolen bases in game 1. And now let's see, 3, 4 stolen bases in this ball game already. Fouled away.
Hoakola needs to bear down right here. He's ahead in the count 1-2. They've already scored 4 in the inning. He's got to get his team back off the field, into the dugout. He's got to make a big-time pitch right here.
Oh my goodness. Called strike 3 on the outside corner, and that will be the frame. So how about this inning for Zane Ho'okola? He ends up striking out the side of his 3 outs, but in between, he gives up 2 home runs, 2 singles, and a walk. 4 runs come across in the third. Now, a completely different ball game. Folks, want to tell you about Baseball Youth. Whether it's hosting some of the nation's most competitive individual events, engaging with players, coaches, and parents from around the world via social media, or covering the game's most important developments, Baseball Youth is your hub for everything the youth game has to offer. Through highly visible social media channels and a wealth of online resources, Baseball Youth has you covered from every angle. Check out Baseball Youth at baseballyouth.com. So, bottom half of the third inning, now a 4-2 lead for Canes Elite from the melting pot of the 2 states of Texas and Florida. And they lead ZT Elite Garcia of California in this elimination bracket ball game. Somebody going home at the end of this one, and someone moving on to the national championship game. Again, that'll be double elimination in the national championship, so the winner of this one will have to defeat the powerhouse that is the East Cobb program from the state of Georgia twice. We will have the broadcast of what will either be the national championship game or the first of 2 coming up next here on the Travel Ball Select Facebook page at noon. Hit batter to start the inning.
You know, Chris, one of the things about putting a field together with this much talent from all over the country is there can only be one winner. You know, there's going to be a lot of really good teams go home. A lot of really good teams have already went home as we're down to the final 3 out of 28. That makes it enjoyable games to watch.
Runner's breaking. And he's in. Throw goes into center field, but he'll stay there. Will Morris get himself a stolen base. Wild pitch. He was breaking before the wild pitch. Right field, that ball got a chance to fall, Rick, and it'll pop in and out of the glove of the right fielder, Griffin.
He got a great jump on that. I actually thought he was going to make this play. Heck of an effort by the young man. He laid out, and with his speed, I really thought this ball was going to hang up long enough for him to get to it.
Oh, that was truly in his glove. He nearly made the snow cone catch.
He had it.
By the way, Morris was able to make his way down to the third base bag.
Good base running by Morris. He had to wait and see if he was going to catch that ball. Did a good job.
The breaking ball. Boy, oh boy, the off-speed stuff for Irvi Quijada has been so good. He faces Max Lopez, and Lopez lines one off the glove of the third baseman. Now breaking back towards the plate is Morris. He will score easily. Runners at first and second now in a 4-3 game.
Well, we're going to show you right now, right here, why they call this the hot corner. Gets the pitch, drives it down to third baseman, down to third baseline, right off the glove of the third baseman. If he catches that, it's a double play.
Yep. So now Schmidt at second and Lopez at first. RBI single, Max Lopez. Here's Zane Ho'okala. And he drives one to right and well struck. Catching up into the wind, moving back and making the catch is Griffin. Tagging from second and headed to third wisely is Logan Schmidt. Boy, oh boy, Zane just missed it.
Just missed it. Didn't quite get all of it. Didn't get it up in that wind that we talked about earlier. More of a line drive, and it stayed in the park. Nice catch by the young man, getting back there in time. And then hustle and get it back in as well. Hold the runner at first. Now you've got still the double play still in order. First and third, one out. They can get out of this with just a little bit of damage right here with one good pitch. But on the flip side, if he's not careful, this 4-3 deficit can turn into a 6-4 advantage in one swing of the bat as well.
With Jaden Estevez at the plate, and Estevez up and out.
Well, no sooner did I mention it.
Oh, these kids are making us look smart today, aren't they?
Yeah, he's making us look good for sure. He sat back on the breaking ball, drove it deep. Watch this here. Man, he waits on that. Oh. It comes right over the heart of the plate, and he absolutely hammers it to left field for a 3-run home run and the lead.
6-4. ZT Elite Garcia from the state of California with a 4 spot quickly in this bottom half of the third, by the way. Top half of the third inning must have lasted 22 minutes to produce 4 runs on the board for Canes Elite. Meanwhile, ZT comes back and gets 4 runs of their own to claim a 6-4 lead in this inning, and they did it with lightning precision.
Still one out, and you know what? That's what good teams do. They answer. They answer innings like that Texas Florida Canes had. They come right back with 4 of their own to kind of change the momentum again. And we talk about that often in this age. Momentum is a big factor. California jumps out for 2 in the first to gain some momentum. Texas Florida comes back with 4 to swing the momentum, and now it's swung back.
Barrett Stanley did not start this second game of the day for Canes Elite in the field. He did in game 1. He was 0 for 2, started as the right fielder. 0 for 2 at the plate with a strikeout and a pop-up. And you had the feeling part of the reason why we would see him come out for his team and pitch at some point, and here he is, Barrett Stanley, I mean. The new man on the mound for the boys in green pinstripes.
Even though they take the name Texas Florida Canes, you can tell the uniforms.
Yeah.
Modeled after the Hurricanes, for sure.
I work with a guy down in Atlanta. For those of you who do not know me out there, I work sports talk station down in Atlanta, 680 The Fan, 93.7 FM. You're home of the Atlanta Braves, the largest baseball network in America. John Michael's a massive Miami Hurricanes fan. He's got what is the bird that's the representative of the Canes? What's that bird called? Anybody? Nobody?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? The stork
mascot,
looking.
Yeah,
it's not a stork though. It's a water fowl of some sort. This guy's got that tattoo on himself. What's that, Patrick?
Pelican?
No, I don't think it's a pelican.
Not a pelican.
No. A loon.
Is it a loon?
That might be a good guess. I'll have to agree because it was Amy Walker, our executive producer.
Osprey? That might.
I don't know. The Osprey is North Florida, the University of North Florida. I know that from my days of calling Division II baseball.
Now we're just sitting here guessing birds.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Eric Zadunik is the hitter now. Zadunik, a strikeout victim back in the first. Stanley, with clean bases, charged with the task of keeping this a 6-4 ball game. Zadunik, the extra hitter, the EH, if you will. These kids allowed to hit 10 men in their lineup, for those of you the uninitiated out there. Ground ball. Past the second baseman. That one took kind of a funny hop there, had a little funny spin off the end of the bat from Zadunik. And now he's reached the base paths as well.
I think it had a lot of top spin on it, and on this turf, that second bounce, once you get to that second bounce, that ball gains speed and momentum. I thought he was going to make the play, but that ball sped up on that turf on that second bounce and shot out into right field.
5 men have reached in the inning. Stanley's first to Aaron Garcia, fastball that stays high.
Right now, Coach Smith is over there in the dugout with his guys. He's just trying to figure a way to get his guys off the field, out of that heat, into the dugout. And he'll take anything he can get right now.
Garcia ground out 5-3 to win the first. The first inning where the boys from California scored 2 times. They led 2-0. Then a 4 spot in the top half of this very inning, the top half of the third. For the combo team from Florida and Texas, had a 4-2 lead into this bottom half of the third inning. And now 4 on the board for California, 6-4.
You know, two different style of play here. I mean, we've had a runner at first base now for 5 pitches in a row. And
I know where you're going, yes.
We don't have that with the Texas-Florida Canes.
That's right.
They're gone in 1 or 2 pitches.
You almost forget he's out there.
Right.
Oh, called strike 3 on the outside corner. A dandy pitch. I thought they were going to call that one low. I beg your pardon. Garcia's gone.
Great pitch. I think we'll see right here that this one definitely caught the outer part of the plate. Oh, yeah, right there. Great pitch.
Yeah, and I thought it was close to being low as well. Balk.
I'm not sure what happened there. He just stopped. I guess this is a good time to remind everyone that these are 12-year-olds.
Yes.
So we don't know what was going through his mind there and why he stopped.
It's easy to forget sometimes with the talent that these young men have. Off the outside corner. To the lefty, Zion Martinez. Or Martinez. Grounded out to the second baseman to start, well, just last inning. 0 for 1. Ground ball.
This is going to be a tough
second
play.
once more, indeed. And he'll beat it out. Runner coming to the plate, the throw, not in time. 7-4 ball game.
Well, I tell you what, that's unusual there. But with 2 outs, Coach Garcia at third just keeps the runner going just in case he is safe at first base. And he steals a run right here in the bottom of the third inning, which could prove to be pivotal later on in the game.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
Great heads up by both Coach Garcia and the runner to never slow down and keep going. If he slows down at least in the slightest bit to concede that out at first, he does not score on that play.
David Domingo pinch hitting for Adrian Rosales. Rosales was a strikeout victim just last inning. Third inning, bottom of the third, and now everyone will have batted twice, or at least, I suppose a better way of saying it, every spot in the lineup will have batted twice.
Pitch out there. They thought ZT might have a play on here and moving the runner, try to get him in scoring position with 2 outs, but he stayed put.
He is going this time. That one in the dirt. Martinez has it.
They had a feeling he was going. They just guessed wrong on the pitch that he was going to be going on.
Yep. Or perhaps the previous decision precipitated, allowed ZT to say, well, now that you've done that, now's my time to go.
Yeah, true. You don't see too many teams pitch out twice at this age level.
Right. 3-2 count. Dylan Seward's on deck. Domingo's first at-bat of the ball game. Cut on and missed, and he's gone. Something off speed on the inside corner. But an incredible inning, a 5-run uprising in the bottom half of the third inning. The big blow, of course, the 3-run home run off the bat of Jaden Estevez. And now a 7-4 California lead. Now that bottom half of the third inning really changed a great deal. Obviously, changed the scoreboard. Now 7-4. California out in front of Texas, Florida. But I'll tell you something. I mentioned it at the break. Alongside Rick Goff, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And oh, by the way, Finn Moore to lead things off in this top half of the fourth inning. We've reached the midway point of this elimination bracket ball game. But Rick, I mentioned it at the break. You know, that inning also changed the dynamic in a massive way for this young man on the mound.
Absolutely it did. You can already see his composure. If you look at his shoulders from the last inning to this inning here, you can kind of see they're perked up a little bit. He's got the lead now, and now he's ahead 0-2. You can tell the confidence of this young man is back in his favor.
Might have also bought him some extra time on the mound.
Yeah.
Now with a 3-run lead. Coach might be a little more apt to allow him to go a little deeper into the ball game. Swing and a miss, but they'll have to throw him out. And they'll never be able to do so. Really good speed out of Finn Moore. He'll reach the first base bag after the strikeout.
That's unfortunate for him. He gets the strikeout, and wild pitch allows him to reach. That's a tough break for the young man there.
And now Stanley. Stanley's first at-bat of the ball game. McMahon started it for the Canes. He gave up a couple runs in the first inning. Quijada came in as his replacement, settled into the ball game, settled down over the end of the first and the second inning. But then, of course, well, came last inning. Quijada was the man on the mound as that rally started for California. Stanley came in, took his place, and eventually got him out of the inning. Always such a joy to call this event. I mentioned earlier, for those of you who do not know me, I call professional, collegiate, and high school athletics. And what's so great about this thing, Rick, now is we're starting to see a lot of kids that are playing major college baseball across America.
Oh, yeah.
That have made their way into professional baseball. I was researching some of the kids who won the national championships from the La Miranda Knights of about, 5 or 6 years ago, remember?
6 years, yeah.
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 And three just real quick, I was going to say 3 or 4 of those kids now are either on the verge of being drafted or playing major college baseball.
Well, that team actually is the only team in the history of the Travel Ball Select Nationals to lose their first bracket game and battle back all the way through the losers bracket and win the championship.
And one of those years, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't La Miranda the team that won back-to-back titles in different age groups with a group of the same kids, or am I thinking of someone different?
You're thinking of MVP. MVP Hustle out of California.
All right. Well, I know one year they came dangerously close to doing that. Perhaps that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Stanley with a good battle here. 2-2 count. Off the corner.
Yeah, there's been quite a few. We're starting to track that now. Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
The quarterback at
Georgia was a pro.
Yep, he played in this event.
Yep.
Back when he was 13, I believe, was when it was.
Ground ball at short. Deep short. Off the glove of the shortstop. Seward will just have to corral it on the infield. And the first 2 men have reached.
Well, here come the Canes battling back. If people in California and Coach Garcia thought the Canes were just going to go away.
Yeah. I'm calling that an infield single.
Yeah, I would too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep, I would too.
Yeah, we were talking about that in game 1 as well. It looks like this will be the end of the day now for Ho'okola. We'll see somebody new on the mound. We'll get you the name and number here in just a moment. It's amazing some of the names that have come through this Travel Ball Select National Championship circuit and what they're continuing to do in the collegiate and professional ranks.
Yeah, there was a kid here that was here about 4 years ago. He's now pitching for Penn State. And I received a text message about 3 or 4 weeks ago, right towards the end of the season. And he actually lit up the radar gun through 100 miles an hour.
Is that right?
Yeah, at Penn State right now. He's a freshman.
Give me that name, would you?
Logan Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Logan Evans.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do remember that name, absolutely.
He's doing well there at Penn State. And as time goes, you're going to see more and more of these kids and recognize the names as they play in various sports as well. Some of them not always baseball, as is the case with Fromm.
Right. Well, as is the case in the state of Georgia, for instance, with a couple of kids who played. Well, now I can't remember the exact teams they played for, but Brock Vandegrift, who was one of the most highly coveted high school quarterbacks for the 2020 high school football season across America, much less in the state of Georgia. He now is in the quarterback room for the Georgia Bulldogs. A kid by the name of Gunnar Stockton in the state of Georgia. He'll be a senior this year at the high school ranks. He's a University of Georgia commit, and he's one of the top dual-threat quarterbacks in America recruit-wise as well. Both of those kids played against each other the same year here in the Travel Ball Select National Championships.
Yeah.
Brody Smith now. Brody, the second baseman for the boys in green and orange. Jaden Estevez, the right-hander, is the new man on the mound for the boys in 2 shades of blue. 7-4 ball game. Smith the tying run at the plate. We're in the top half of the 4th inning. It's been a wild last inning. Fouled it off 0-1. We'll have to start thinking about the time limit here in the not-too-distant future. See if we have a time on that. I don't know if you've got it there, Rick.
Yeah, we'll have to check on it with the umpires and what the start time was. We did have to delay a game a couple of minutes, so I don't know what the official start time, but we'll make sure that we get it. Hour and 45 time limit for these games. This is the last one of the day that's time limited because once we get into the championship game, it's still, let me rephrase that. It's still time limited, but we extend it to like 2 hours and 20 minutes. And
so it never
point,
really,
it never really comes into a factor.
Right. 1-1 count. Good speed on the paths. Estevez kicks and fires.
You know, it's a safe statement to make anytime the Canes are on the base pass. Good speed on the pass.
Yeah. I just throw it out there every time they have somebody out there.
You're never going to be wrong.
Right. It's the only sure shot I've got today, Rick. How about those old home plate chili dog teams? Or
they're still around.
Or some of the teams that you worked with back in the day.
Yeah.
Any of those guys?
Motor City Hit Dogs.
That's it, the Motor City Hit Dogs.
Yeah.
It escaped me for a moment. Left field and foul. It's always great to catch up on some of those names.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years. You know, and
wild.
One thing that you can't beat and you can't defend is Father Time.
That's right.
It's going to get the best of you at the end of the day. And here we are 10 years later, still doing what we'd love to do and calling baseball games out here on a fine Sunday afternoon.
Blessed. Absolutely blessed. Here's a happy Father's Day to all of you out there.
Well, we can see the preoccupation with the base runners is coming back into play here as this inning is slowed way down as they are going on there.
Both men going. Throw down to second. Oh, boy, just beat that out. And I'll tell you what, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Indecision as to whether or not to go on the base pads.
They cost that.
And on that, yep, they're going to challenge that. It cost the Florida Texas Canes Elite in the first game. Remember, they lost a run on the base paths as they kind of hesitated, and it cost them. And of course, they ended up losing that run, that ball game by a run. Here, it doesn't cost them as the runner's able to get into the second base bag.
And Coach Garcia is going to challenge this play at second base. So we've got a stoppage in the game. They're going to stop the clock. They're going to come up here and they're going to take a look at it and see what we've got here. We're going to get a look at it here before they get up. Yeah, 15 gets in the way, but we don't want to speculate. We want to wait until they get up here, and they're going to take a close look at it and see what we can come up with. I think this one's going to be another quick review. We're going to head down, and they have made the decision. They're heading back down to the field to give us our decision, but it was quick.
Yeah.
So we've got the call. He's safe. Coach Garcia's down to one replay now, but that was a good use of a challenge there. Hopefully maybe you get an out, get off the field, or I'm sorry, get the first out of the inning, kind of slow that momentum down. So I don't mind him using that replay challenge there.
So again, the tying run at the plate. Still no one out in the inning. Finn Moore was a strikeout victim, but the ball popped away and he reached the first base bag. Stanley His first at-bat of the ball game, had a ground ball deep at short. He was able to reach on an infield single. Now after that last play, both men advance 70 feet. Smith can bring his team within a run with a hit. And instead, he'll take the base on balls.
Well, this is not what Coach Garcia wanted to see after that big inning, taking the lead. Bases loaded, no one out. This is a big spot in the game for the Canes for sure right here.
Jack Strochak.
Double check. I haven't taken my trip. Right? I call time.
Cut.
Fans want to tell you about GameDayUSA.com. With over 200 tournaments throughout the Midwest and beyond, Game Day USA offers a central location for youth players of all ages and skill levels. With nearly 6,000 baseball and softball teams from 25 states and Canada competing annually. Game Day USA, they have a tournament for everyone, including you. Give Game Day a visit at GameDayUSA.com. Top of the fourth inning, 7-4 ball game. Tying run on the base pads for Texas Florida Canes Elite. Elimination bracket ball game. Someone's week will be over and their dreams of winning a national title here in 2021 will be dashed. The winner will move on to face the number one team in America, the Astros of East Cobb. Astros Orange of East Cobb in the state of Georgia. Ball one. No, they will call that a strike. I beg your pardon. Strochak with a strike.
Right now, ZT Elise is looking for an out any way, anyhow, anywhere they can get an out. And
swing and a miss. Esteban gets Strochak to change, or to chase. I beg your pardon.
Head 0-2 here. Down at the bottom of the order, they don't want to mess around here. They want to go right at this young man.
Fastball stays high. Feels like a setup pitch.
We've seen quite a few of those today.
Swing and a miss. Strochak down on strikes.
First out's a big one. Still not out of danger yet, though. We're still in the same situation. Bases loaded now with one out. But we've turned the lineup over. We're back to the top, correct?
Yep, Aiden Salinas. This kid has had a tremendous day so far.
He's a tough out.
Just in this ball game, yes, a strikeout in the first, but he walked and scored a run just last inning. He scored the first of the 4 runs that were put on the board in the third. Had a double and a solo home run in game 1 here today. Drove in a run, scored twice. Off speed, off the corner. Make it 1-2.
Can't give him nothing good to hit here. You got to make him get himself out. Anything over the plate, he's going to be swinging. And one swing of the bat, this can turn into an 8-7 lead just like that.
Wind is really howling right now, by the way.
It's picking up.
Swing and a miss. Salinas is gone.
That might be the biggest out of the tournament so far right there. What a clutch situation for that young man. Challenged Salinas with the fastball on the inside, and he ended up winning this one.
Rosales goes out and has a conversation with Estevez, I beg your pardon, Jaden Estevez. He'll face Jaworski Lane. Lane, the only man in the lineup to be 2 for 2.
Talking to many coaches this weekend, they will tell you this is the toughest out in this lineup, this young man right here.
He's got a couple of singles and a couple of stolen bases. He scored once. 2 for 2, 2 stolen bases and a run scored.
Matter of fact, one coach went so far to tell me that if they were in this situation, they would walk him and force in 1 run.
Boy, oh boy. Well, remember, Noah Everly is on deck. Everly's the man who hit the 2-run home run last inning. And then Devin Downs is in the dugout, and Downs is the man who hit the moonshot last inning. That ball must have been, I'm not even going to try to estimate how far it went.
1-1.
Biggest moment of the ball game so far. Estevez, set and deal. Little cue shot, right field, stays fair, base hit. 1 run is in. Second runner coming to the plate, the throw, a 1-hopper. He'll slide in safe, kicks away from the catcher, but everybody going to stay put on the base pads. 2 men come across, it's 7-6.
Great piece of hitting by the young man. I can see now why all the coaches in this tournament said this kid's the toughest out on this Texas-Florida Canes lineup. Didn't try to overswing, didn't try to do too much with it. Went with the pitch, went to right field, drives in a couple of runs for his team. And, well, they're going to walk him here.
Simply to set the force up at every base. They have respect, obviously, for Everly, but you know they have respect for Downs as well, who will be the batter with the bases loaded. This can be for nothing more than to set up the force at every base.
You know, everybody talks about this is a game of baseball, but I'm here to argue when you get into these types of games and these types of situations, this is a game of chess. And putting another runner on base with 2 outs, I understand it sets up the force, but that's also putting another runner on base that has the potential to score. And in the 12-year-old game, that's a dangerous, dangerous move.
Well, especially when you're putting said runner on base to bring up Devin Downs, who again, as I mentioned a moment ago, hit that moonshot to center, then went over the batter's eye. The fence is 250. The batter's eye, is that 15 or 20 feet above? 20 feet. And he must have hit that ball, well, what would you give the number at? 310, 320?
Well over 300 for sure.
Yeah.
Well over 300.
Logan Schmidt has come from the first base bag to the mound. He will be the new hurler, the left-hander for ZT Elite Garcia of California. His team's lead now a precarious one. You're in the top half of the 4th inning. 2 runs have come across from 7-4 to 7-6. 2 men gone in the frame, but the bases are loaded.
We talked earlier about the M word, and here's a good opportunity for one of these teams to grab the M, which is momentum. Bases loaded here. If you can get this out, maintain that lead coming into the bottom of the 4th, you're going to have all the energy in the world. If you give up that lead, Texas-Florida Canes now is on top of the world. This is a big at bat right here in this game.
Yeah, momentum is very, very real at this level. Talking about kids, after all.
As a hitter, you got to have a plan on what you want to do in this situation. You can't just swing at the first thing that comes up there to you. You got to have a plan.
Fastball well high from Schmidt. I've also told 29 if I'm his coach, think about seeing a strike. This kid hasn't pitched since at least yesterday. He has not pitched today for his club. Oh, I beg your pardon. Actually, we did not see them earlier, so he may have pitched earlier in their first game. I'll beg your pardon. Kick and fire. Swing and a miss, a fastball.
You think it was windy before. The breeze just got a little bit stronger after that swing.
That ball nearly the same location as the home run he hit earlier. One. Off speed. Oh, drops on the corner for a strike. Ooh. One and two. We'll expect to see action here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases loaded, 1-run game. Top of the 4th. Schmidt kicks and fire. Oh boy. Now to 3-2. Well, we'll certainly see action here. Runners their lead. Schmidt will kick and fire. And it's served into right. Moving back on it and making the call and the catch for out number 3. 2 runs come across in the 4th. But keep in mind, the bases were also loaded. The boys from Texas, Florida get out of that jam and still, the kids from California get out of that jam and still own the lead. 7-6 to the bottom half of the inning. Oh, have we reached the time limit? My goodness. Well, they got to give us a warning next time, Rick. Holy smokes, we reached the time limit. That is your ball game. Oh my goodness, 7-6 is going to be your final. ZT Elite from Garcia is going to win this ball game. Now, how big was that moment?
That was bigger than what we were building it up to be.
Oh, baby.
And we knew earlier when we were talking about the play, we were asking about the time.
Yep.
And I just was trying to find out what it was, but I guess they told us on the field. So Texas Florida Canes, hats off to them. Great run this weekend, and to finish 3rd in this thing is, it's tremendous.
Right, because you lose to East Cobb, the Georgia powerhouse, and then you lose to ZT Elite Garcia. And where are those 2 teams in the national rankings off the top of your head? Both in the top 5, right?
They're 1 and 2.
1 and 2, that's right. Yeah. So
1 and 2.
What a performance for the Texas Florida Canes Elite. And so keep in mind, ZT Elite Garcia of the state of California advances on to the national championship. We'll have the first ball game of the potential national championships coming up at noon right here on Field 5. Well, maybe not at noon, of course, because it's about 12:20 or so. We'll see in about, 20 minutes or so?
About 15, 20 minutes we'll be back.
About 15 or 20 minutes or so. So we'll bid you adieu. 7-6 your final. California over Texas, Florida. For Rick Goff, I'm Chris Mooneyham. We'll see you in a little bit. Back on the Travel Ball Select Facebook page.